This is Jacques Santucci, president of Opus Consulting, a business performance management firm.
And this is Don Martelli, Chief Operating Officer of the Belfort Group, an integrated digital marketing and PR agency. Welcome to the Re.Invent Videocast, a real-time exploration of how to successfully manage disruption in business.
There's many reasons why businesses are disrupted: global market performance, competition, pandemic, and much more. Re.Invent will feature interviews with experts across a range of industries who will share tips you can transfer to your business. Our contacts, our friends, your friends, Re.Invent New England.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the latest edition of the Re.Invent New England Videocast. I am Don Martelli, the Chief Operating Officer of the Belfort Group, a digital marketing and communications agency located in downtown Boston.
And I'm Jacques Santucci, president of Opus Consulting, a business performance management consulting firm in New England, helping our clients get to the next level. And today we have a great guest. Thank you for joining us, Eric. So as you know, the purpose of this videocast is to talk about our friends and contacts who are making a change. And Eric, I know you are doing a lot of things to make a change with this current situation, but how about you introduce yourself?
Sure, absolutely. Well, first, thank you for having me on. I appreciate this, and I look forward to our conversation. So, my name's Eric Schooman. I'm the CEO of Stint. What we do at Stint is we tell job seekers the exact next action to take to land their next job. The first product that we released a couple months ago is a job search CRM tracker for job seekers. And we released that specifically timely based off of the large number of COVID-19 layoffs that we saw.
When the pandemic for now 4 or 5 months, why did you start Stint?
So I started Stint because I once was unemployed, like many people that have lost their jobs due to COVID-19 layoffs. And I felt that I didn't have the tools that I needed to manage my job search. And if I wanted those tools, I had to pay a lot of money. Yet, as being someone that was unemployed, I didn't want to be spending money. I wasn't prepared or ready to spend money on those solutions. So what I did is I started to build tools that I would have wanted. And I put together a team, and we built a prototype. And we took that prototype and we started sharing it with job seekers. And we gathered feedback. And what we wanted to do was build a tool for them to manage their job search. That was the first thing that we wanted to do, is fill that immediate need. And now, as we've been in market for a couple months and we're getting some great feedback from users, we've built out that pretty basic CRM, and we're getting to the next phase, which is providing them with the ticklers, the teasers of the next best action that they should be taking based off of the jobs that they're applying to get their next job. And again, going back to your question of why did I start Stint, it's because this is a tool that I would have wanted. This is what I would have wanted, were free tools like this when I was seeking my next job.
This is like almost like a virtual headhunter of sorts, right? Somebody's kind of shepherding you through actually maybe not identifying opportunities, but I guess I've been there. You're out of work, trying to find a job. You feel like you're in a bit of a bubble, and that and it's a rat race. We're all competing. So to have a tool like this to give you a leg up, I mean, what's that experience like from an end user? Just to kind of walk me through it. It'd be interesting to hear that.
Sure, and it's more like a career coach than a headhunter.
Okay. Got it.
So what we do is we guide you. So someone that is seeking a job the week after that they were just laid off versus someone that's seeking a job after applying for 50 jobs over 3 months, the things that I should be doing are very different. Mm-hmm. It all actually does kind of go back to networking. So 65 to 85% of jobs are filled through networking. Mm-hmm. But when you're 3 months into that job search, you think that you've done all the networking that you can, but you actually haven't. There's a lot more that you can do. And what we do is we provide you with notifications and little pushes to tell you exactly what you should be doing for network in context of where you are in your search and in context of the jobs that you are currently applying to.
That's great. What's it? So you must have a background in technology or programming. Is this obviously this is sort of, or you're just a creative brain? What's your background and how'd you get to this point?
Sure. Yeah. My background's in product management,
Okay,
specifically software and app product management.
got it.
So I've been an early employee at a few different companies, and built out the product management
Got it.
organization. And for those people that don't know what product management is, essentially, I need to understand the market. I need to understand the users, the personas of the people that are using the actual tools. And then also those that are paying for the tools, understand their problems, and then identify what are solutions that we want to test with them, and then work with engineers to actually bring them to reality.
So you're the guy in the garage with that global problem. So I can fix this somehow with a piece of software.
It's easy.
Got it. You're the guy. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I try to be. I don't know.
Good stuff. Sounds great. Sounds like it's obviously
Yeah.
much needed in today's environment, clearly, with millions of people at work.
You've been on the market for a couple of months. Stint is starting to grow a little bit. How about funding? How about how you gonna keep the company afloat?
Yeah, absolutely. So what we're doing right now is we're focusing on user activation. Essentially, what we're trying to do is build the best experience for our users so that it's something that they want to talk about. And then from there, we're then going to actually go and focus on acquisition. Now that we have the best product, we want to actually go out and get as many people to use this free tool as we possibly can. And once we do that and we have a large base of users, we think that there are a few different revenue producing opportunities. The first being the timing will probably work out where we'll be at a point where companies will start to be hiring again. And I think that looks different than it has in the past, how they go about recruiting and hiring. To get us there, because we are not going to be generating revenue for probably the next 6 to 9 months. We need funding. So far I've been self-funding this, and right now we're starting to prepare for a pre-seed round.
Got it. So at this point, word of mouth is huge, right? Just letting people know. And I think it's one of those things where you have to experience it to believe that it can work for you. Any early signs of success on an individual level from users? I mean, what's the feedback been like?
Yeah, feedback's been great, and it's really interesting. We have this metric that we use called weekly active users. So what percentage of our users, and we cohort it out based off of the months that people signed up.
Sure.
And initially we were about 20%. And now we're getting to about 30%, because what we're doing is we're releasing new features often to try and make it a better experience. So the early users were very frustrated, but luckily that's usually the low-hanging fruit of things that we need to build into the product, which will make the later users happier. Some early signs of success, we're starting to get our users jobs. Our most active
That's
user
great.
that signed up a couple days after we launched, she ended up managing about 70 different job applications in Stint. And it took her about 5 weeks, and then she had her next job.
Wow. That's great.
Yeah.
It sounds so simple. Like, why didn't we think of this years ago? Right.
Well, I can tell you why. From a business perspective, there's high churn. And
true.
If you try to monetize through people that are seeking jobs, just as I said, I did not want to pay for anything. And there are solutions out there that job seekers can pay for. What we're trying to do is make something that is free for job seekers, that is funded by people that actually have money, such as employers. But we're also going to provide them with tools also in the future.
So you're going to end up having a lot of data around how job seekers are looking for jobs. Is that also one of the goals of Stint?
Yeah, so we're collecting a lot of data, right? And we're using the data for a couple different things. One is to actually identify, be evidence-driven on what is the next best action to take for our users. But we also do think that there's value in the data for recruiters. I wouldn't say that we're there yet to really know exactly how we're going to leverage that. And I'm saying that in the context that our end users that are seeking jobs, their privacy is the number one priority there. So we want to make sure that we do it in a responsible manner where we're not providing any information to recruiters or any other party that might be interested in hiring data without first making sure that privacy is upheld.
So next step for Stint, after 2 months, and you said you're going to start raising more money. What's your roadmap?
Yeah. Working in product, we're not supposed to discuss our roadmap, but I'll
Hey, you don't have to.
So I don't promise that this will be. This is not written in stone. I'll just say that.
Yeah.
So right now, what we're trying to do is build out the best CRM and build in these ticklers. So really, what are the things that you should be doing next? Right now, we're mobile optimized, but we don't have a mobile app. So we're going to build a mobile app. And then what comes after that is beyond job seekers. We think that there is value. We think from a professional social perspective, there are platforms out there that are great that every single person uses. And I'll say it, LinkedIn, everyone uses LinkedIn, but it does have some gaps. Mm-hmm. So we believe that there are gaps that we can fill not only for job seekers, but also for people just to manage their professional information on a day-to-day basis and as they go through their career.
How can we help you?
How can you help us? Promote us. Just let people know that there's this free resource out there that they can be using. And not just individuals, but also companies that are going through hard decisions. Because a lot of our initial users came from these larger companies that laid off anywhere from 100 to 2,000 people. And many of them said, hey, we'll help you. We'll set up maybe a Slack community that you can communicate on, but that's about it. What we want to do is we want to just be this free resource and let every single person know that we're here to help them and do whatever we can to get them their next job.
So I'm not a job seeker, but knock on wood, but what should I do? Where do I find you? Where do I find Stint?
Sure. Our website is www.gostint.com, and it's easy to sign up. Just enter in a username and a password, and you have an account. We have some really cool features to make it easy to use because some of you might be using a Google Sheet or Excel like many others. One cool feature to make it easier to use Stint is if you have a bunch of emails that you receive that have confirmed your applications, we call them job application confirmation emails. You forward those to job apps at GoStint after you've created an account, and that will automatically add them to your account. So you can start tracking jobs that you've already applied to.
That's cool.
Excellent. Well, we're trying to keep those segments pretty short. Anything else that you're working on? And I should mention that, you and I, we're also working on Opus Consulting and expanding our brand there too. So, that's part also of your, I don't want to put word in your mouth.
Yeah. What are you doing? What are you doing for our friend here? How are you guys collaborating in that regard?
Yeah, absolutely. So being in the Boston area and being exposed and having relationships with a lot of small and medium-sized businesses, going through the difficulties that many other companies trying to figure out how do we reinvent ourselves through COVID-19. And I have friends coming to me and asking about I don't know what to do. You're an entrepreneur. What action should I be taking for my business? And this now gives me the opportunity to have experts there that can really step in with Opus, and I can also provide some type of help I can also provide help on the technology side. But now I can refer them to the experts, and I just think that for me, it's mostly matchmaker. And I think that what Jacques and the Opus group does is awesome and really helps businesses. And I want my network in Boston to be aware of Opus and, help facilitate them working together.
That's funny you sort of talk about that connection, because I think that's how this whole Re.Invent New England videocast started. Jacques and I jumped on a quick phone call, talked about his business, my business, back in March, April, when things were really truly uncertain, and we all kind of woke up and said, "Holy crap, we're dealing with some really interesting times," if you will. And a lot of folks didn't make it, company wise, and some folks like us have sort of lucky to continue to plow through. But you're right, it's still, regardless of the environment we're in, it's still about the people making those connections. So being able to be connected to you and Jacques and his team and others, now us, you and I, just allows us to expand those opportunities. And it could be just me making a connection to one of my clients that would be looking for technology solution or just some additional consulting help. But it's good to make these connections. It's really good to see people still creating and doing interesting things in a time when we're so inclusive or reclusive when it comes to sort of business, because we're all kind of holding on to our vest. So kudos to you for having that idea and getting in the garage and making it happen. So good stuff.
Yeah.
Thanks.
All right. Well, thank you, Eric, for joining us. Don, as usual.
I appreciate it. So when
thank you guys.
When this all wraps up, we'll have we'll put it out to our social media channels. But we do want to thank everybody for joining us today on the latest Re.Invent New England videocast. You can find information about Opus and Belfort either on our YouTube channels, our social media channels. But Eric, we do appreciate the time and looking forward to seeing that product roadmap wherever it takes you. We'll be following it as you go along.
Good luck.
Nice.
Good luck, guys.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.